are Black Orcs with great weapons, any good in patch 6.0.3. This is written during the beta patch era. This renamed unit does everything it did before, but now it can smash even harder. There have been some changes since the patch 5.3 era, but the bottom line is that they're even better and were already great. Black Orcs historically mulched opponents extra well, and even if some animation stuff got dragged into line, it's still a great unit. Now let's go into why. Recruited for 1,100 gold and 275 upkeep, incrementally more than before, this gets you 80 entities on Ultra with 10,800 health between them, armor 110, but unlike the newly styled standard variant, no shields. Leadership 72 is high. Speed 29 and charge speed 37 are what we expected. Melee attack begins at 38, and attack interval of 3.7 means less downtime between animations. There is no splash damage of any variety on paper. Melee defense starts at 32, and while that's a lot less than some units, being no worse than standard swordsman is quite an achievement for a great weapons unit. Speaking of those, weapon strength of 50 is split between 14 base and 36 armor piercing, a simple and strong formula for success. Bash armor with big weapon for big hurt. There is no bonus versus particular enemy type. Charge bonus is 36, which is quite high, and mass is 190. Aside from hide and forest and the useful immunity to psychology, this unit now has the stance Unstoppable Choppas, shaving a full 24 off melee defense and increasing base and armor piercing melee damage by 50%. Changing stance requires a single second of game time. Instead of asking, where would you use this, one might ask, where would you not use it? Well, there are times when you don't need to, and when you don't want to take unnecessary damage. Barring those, offense being the best defense, you just want them to smash things harder. This stance will get used a lot, but try and respect the fact that armor-piercing melee opponents will do more damage this way. You don't want the red-crested skinks thinking that they have your number. In the red tree, Dub Boys at 3 pips grants plus 6 melee attack to orc infantry units, such as Black Orcs, and plus 12% weapon strength, split along the ratio we got earlier. And in this case, that's armor-piercing heavy. At rank 7, Ard Lads adds 12 armor plus 5 melee defense and 8% ward save for good measure, which makes a tanky Annihilation melee unit even tankier. For the tech tree, Sunderin Blades is less of a pure benefit to these Black Orcs, but more damage is more damage. Also keep in mind that armor affects both melee and ranged damage. Gobos probably want to stay out of the way of these meanies, but firing arrows into the order races still hurts and will hurt more now. The rest is the scrap upgrade content, and since I covered that last video, I'll display the potential benefits. Also, I didn't want to run my mouth on this until I checked for sure, but Immortal's armor is specific to Grimgor Ironhide's faction. That means Confederation isn't going to help. More armor and leadership is awesome, physical resistance just adds another way to diminish non-magical armor-piercing damage, and the rest, melee attack, flat armor-piercing damage, 20% weapon strength, it's brutal and I love it. As for how to use the Black Orcs with great weapons, it's more instructive and helpful to go over how not to use them. Don't send them first into withering handgunner fire. Don't let enemies hit them with artillery if you can avoid it, either actually dodging the artillery or more likely using nasty skulkers to backstab them, even if it costs them their stinkin' gobble lives. Don't get them run over by heavy chariots willy-nilly, but you have cheap spear options now, so use them. Don't let the enemy all gang up on the Black Orcs with ranged fire period. Don't assume they can literally take on the entire enemy army by themselves. In contrast, do look to match them against the meanest, most dangerous part of the enemy force, especially the most armored. Do activate the stance whenever it is safe to do so, barring that, the least unsafe option to do so. Do use them very aggressively, a little short of outright insanity. Do drown the enemy in gobos or whatever to reduce damage incoming to them, be it missile fire or melee, while they dish out what the enemy can't take. Finally, they hit super hard, but their melee attack isn't so great that it can't use some buffing by Wa, Lord, or Spell. This is how you take the Wrecking Ball and make it wreck more. Take care, and have fun crushing the weak. And most things are weaker than these guys, so there.